And good evening, everyone. ESS, Empire State Sports, proudly presents the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. Your host tonight, Joey Ream, Dave Bartlett, myself, Pete Goslaw, and our special guest from Michigan tonight, I believe, Rico Dimatteo. Welcome to the program, Rico.
Thanks for having me.
You are in Michigan, right?
I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan right now, yes.
Yeah, cold out there?
It is probably negative 20 right now.
Oh, just like home then. Just like home.
No, yeah. A little bit colder.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, Rico, boy, what a sense of timing here to find out. I just found out this weekend that you had a chance to play, and you played yesterday. Super Bowl, was it yesterday? Super Bowl Sunday, gets his first career start as a D1 goalie for Northern Michigan and beats Lake Superior State.
Yep.
For his first career win. So before we get to anything, you gotta describe that little feeling. I know it's a culmination of so much that you've gone through, and especially the last 2 weeks. And we want to hear about those last 2 weeks, but specifically yesterday, how did that feel, and what was that like?
Definitely the result was one of the most special moments in my hockey career and my life in general. Really just being overwhelmed after the game, and it all kind of hit me all at once. And, they gave me the game puck and, say a few words after the game, but I found out in the morning that I was going to get the start after we had lost the night before. And, my mind kind of just went to business as usual, and I'm glad I was able to focus in on what I had to focus on and gave myself the best opportunity to perform well, and I did so. So, like I said, one of the most special moments in my hockey career and in my life.
Well, that's awesome, man. And to think I have a little bit of an idea of what you've gone through and how far you've traveled and everything, and you're going to tell that story. But, it's really cool knowing that we got a St. Lawrence Central Larry, a Section 10 guy, now a D1 goalie in the NCAAs. And, so tell the people a little bit about this journey that you took. If you want to include the whole trip, fine. But I mean, especially over these last couple of weeks, why don't you talk about that journey? All of a sudden, going from playing juniors to, how did that all come about?
Yeah. So over Christmas break, Northern Michigan gave me the offer to come to school here, and I accepted it. My perception was I was going to come in the fall of this coming year, and that was the offer. So I head back down to Texas, where I was playing junior hockey. I was in Fort Worth, Texas for about 4 months. Had a great experience down there, and I think it was 2 weeks now. On Sunday, Northern Michigan gave me the call, and they said they wanted me at school in a week. So it was a pretty crazy week, paperwork wise, applying to school and jumping through hoops to make it work, booking flights, the whole thing. And unfortunately, my parents weren't able to kind of go through this with me. My dad, unfortunately, got COVID in this span of time. So it was really overwhelming for my parents. And the cherry on top, I guess, was my birthday was that week as well. So it was a pretty just crazy experience that whole week, kind of just saying goodbyes to the guys I played with on this junior team in Fort Worth, and then kind of traveling on my birthday and arriving on Sunday, and getting acclimatized to a new group of guys in a school setting, which is kind of new to me in the last 3 years. So it's been an interesting couple weeks, but I couldn't be happier right now.
Yeah, really. I didn't even think of that, Rico. I mean, you graduated with my son, with Toby in 2019. You really haven't had school since, have you?
No,
Of any sort, right?
it's been all hockey. It's been all hockey.
So to jump back in the classroom now, all of a sudden, are you actually going to classes, or are your classes remote? How's that working on campus?
Yeah, so luckily with this COVID year, it's almost like a free year for me, eligibility wise. Next fall, I'll still be a freshman, which is really cool. So this semester, it's kind of just getting my feet wet back into an academic setting. And so I'm taking 3 classes, 1 in person and 2 remote, just to get a feel for everything. I wanted that in-person class to get used to what school's going to be like without COVID. And so far, so good right now. I'm all caught up on my work because I was late to getting to school this semester, but it's all worked out.
No, it's not uncommon, is it, for guys playing at your level to not go right straight from high school to college, isn't it? Is it common to play in the juniors level or something like that in between for a year?
I'd say it's more common to go play a couple years of juniors than it is to go straight from high school these days. There's only a handful of guys, and those guys are usually, NHL draft picks who are able to go straight from high school into a Division I setting.
But I think part of that, Rico, too, because people do talk about that when it comes to the other sports, football, basketball, baseball, but there's only about 60 to 65 D1 colleges that play hockey, whereas there's 300 that play basketball. So, yeah, I mean, the numbers aren't there, so there's not that many spots. So yeah, I can see where you have to bide your time and wait, and they want a more mature athlete and a more ready to go athlete. But obviously you're there now, and talk a little bit about, so you were in Fort Worth, Texas. So you go from Fort Worth, Texas to the Northern Peninsula of Michigan. I'm assuming that we've got about an 80-degree swing in weather from what you've been used to.
Yeah, it's funny. When I left home in September, I packed for Texas. And when I got here, it hit me right away that I did not pack for the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So luckily, the team's been really good about, clothing me, I guess you could say. They gave me a heavy winter jacket and some other warm apparel to keep me from freezing to death up here.
You got all your flip flops, tank tops, and Bermuda shorts. That's what you've got, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had to kind of throw those away right now.
Well, talk about that experience in Fort Worth. What was that like? Now, when we had Will on, Will said something about even though you guys wouldn't play against each other, you guys were in the same league, just separate divisions. Was that what it was?
Yeah. So the NAL, the North American Hockey League, is a really big league spread out among 4 divisions: the East, the South, the Midwest, and the Central. I was in the South Division. I'm glad I made the decision to go play down South because right away they were the only league to kind of start playing right away with COVID regulations. I know other leagues had to postpone some games and some other things due to COVID. So yeah, other than that, the league at the end, the overall division champs come together, and I think it's usually held in Minnesota for an overall league title, and that's how that works out.
I'm assuming that obviously the team, your team at Fort Worth, they're happy for you. That's the whole goal of this, is to get you to the next step. But I mean, where did that leave them with you leaving?
Yeah, so I guess it happened so quick. Kind of left them blindsided a bit. But actually, before I left, they were able to get another goalie in there for the weekend of games, and he was a good goalie as well. And that just goes to show you how much movement there is at the junior level in hockey from different leagues. They were able to pick up a goalie that was dropped from a USHL team. And right now, I think he's got 2 shutouts with the team I just left. So he's doing really well, the goalie they just brought in.
Good. Well, Rico, why don't you talk a little bit now about your complete pathway? We'll give you a chance to talk about maybe some of the people that have made a difference to you, coaching wise, playing wise, family wise, who you've played for, and your time at SLC and prep and everything else that along the way that's gotten you to the northern peninsula of Michigan. So have at it.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, and there's a lot of ups and downs as well. I guess before I start, I'm thankful for all those ups and downs and all the people that have kind of, been a part of this whole journey for me and made me into the person I am today. But started off, grew up in Potsdam, started on the ice ever since I can remember. I think my parents would tell you 2 years old, kind of just learning how to skate, playing hockey and playing all kinds of sports, as many sports as I could growing up, and ended up playing my minor hockey in Brazier while living in Potsdam, and having some of the best memories from the ages of 7 to 14 in the Tri-Town organization. Eventually moving out to Brazier, to being with that group of guys I played with in Tri-Town, and being with them not 24 hours in school, going to school with those guys, and eventually leading into playing varsity hockey with them. And varsity hockey probably to this day is still the most fun I've ever had playing hockey. Being around the group of guys I grew up with all day, every day was just a blast. Won a couple state championships in there as well growing up. And then after my sophomore year at SLC, I attended Northwood Prep in Lake Placid. Kind of had a bumpy year there, I guess you could say. I learned a lot. I matured a lot that year for sure. And then going into the next year, I decided to start my junior career in the CCHL with the Cornwall Colts. I played 2 years there, also matured a ton, learned a ton from the older guys. Really couldn't be happier with learning from the older guys in those 2 years, being a young guy. And then having success there, that led me to getting drafted in the North American League by the Lone Star Brahmas, and luckily was able to get an opportunity there and perform there for 4 months, and get the offer from Northern Michigan, who I had been talking to for a while, and just the way they portrayed themselves professionally, it was a no-brainer for me, kind of. And I guess that's where I am today. And obviously, some people that have impacted me are my coaches in minor hockey, Chris Rose, Chris Dow, Billy Arquette, all those guys who coached our teams growing up. And I just say all the memories I made in every youth hockey setting, I couldn't be more thankful for.
Well, and I saw your varsity coach today. I saw Mickey Locke today as we went over to the rink, as our fingers are crossed that we're going to be hopeful to get our kids maybe some games and have a mini season here. And seeing Mickey today, it's mind boggling. You played for him, and some of my best friends who are older than me, Rico, played for him. So He's been around a long time, and you'll have to talk a little bit about high school wise. You got to talk a little bit about your team that played for the state championship and lost to Pelham. But that was quite a team, quite a trip, quite a journey, going out to Buffalo that year and making the state Final Four, making the state championship game.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never had more fun in hockey than high school hockey playing for SLC. And Coach Locke, couldn't have been a better figure for me in those 2 or 3 years I spent with him. I was able to do a practice squad my eighth grade year and see a ton of shots in practice, and that just led into a really good start for me as a freshman. But the state championship team my sophomore year was different. Just showing up at the rink and having fun every single day, you don't realize how much you're really developing because you just always have a smile on your face and you're competing hard against your friends. And at the time you're just, oh, this is so much fun. And at the end of the day, that 1 year I got 60% better just because I showed up to the rink with a smile on my face and I enjoyed where I was and I competed really hard. And I think we all kind of had that attitude, and that's what led to our success.
We had the honor of playing. Dave and I had the honor of playing with your dad at Joey's golf tournament last year, and he was on our team. And he couldn't stop talking about you on your pathway of where you were going, and he was so positive about things to come for you. So it's nice to have that support as well. I'm hoping he sees this and at least sends a couple boxes of clothes for you up there, including long johns. That would be nice. I mean, come on, Dad. I mean, let's pony up here. That would be nice. But no, seriously, your dad, a fantastic man. We played golf with him, like I said, and he had nothing but. We had great chats with him, both Dave and I, on every tee box. It seemed like, because we were held up, and he just said, well, he's improving. He's improving every day, and now you're to the point where, well, now, hey, hard work must have paid off, Rico. So here you are in D1. So what are you looking forward to? I mean, I know you started the other night, you won, perfect. I just looked up your stats. You had a lot of shots on you, I'll tell you that. But looking forward, going into next year, now that you said you're going to be a freshman again, now you're looking at 4 years there, or how is that going to turn out? Do you know how that works out?
Well, anything can happen. Hockey is a crazy world, and still at the Division I level and at the college level, it's still a business. You got to win. So at the end of the day, as an athlete, you can't look too far forward. You got to stay present and control what you can control right now. And it's that kind of mindset that I feel like has gotten me here. And like you said, the support from my father, I think he's instilled that confidence in me where I know where I'm going. I can see it. I just need to focus where I am right now to get there. So for that, I love him. He's had a huge impact on me growing up as an athlete and teaching me right from wrong and made me the person I am today, really.
So describe to us, because we always hear different stories, but we figure we'll get it right from the horse's mouth here. Describe to us how everything was, the restraints that you were under as far as this COVID. Is it different down in Texas than it is where you are now? And can you just tell us a little bit about how you guys are dealing with it as a team?
Yeah, so when I was in Texas, it was life as usual with masks, if that, really. So, I mean, there wasn't, a ton of COVID regulations. We were playing, we were showing up to the rink, we were hanging out, we were going to restaurants, we were eating. All we were really doing was filling out maybe a symptom check a couple times a week. And now being in a college setting, we COVID test 6 to 7 times a week, sometimes twice a day. It's been a lot stricter. You better have a mask on you everywhere you go, unless you're in your room in the dorms. Other than that, just try to stay away from public places and restaurants, because if one person gets COVID, the whole team could be shut down for a couple of weeks. So it's an accountability thing.
So are you guys playing with a mask on?
No, luckily we aren't. I know Michigan this summer, they were kind of restricted to a certain amount of guys on the ice at one time and had to wear masks on the ice, which in my opinion is kind of ridiculous. But they've gotten away from that. Restrictions have kind of loosened a bit. And right now we're, like I said, testing often and staying diligent on our habits.
Yeah, I broadcast a game yesterday in Boston. I had my nephews they're playing hockey out there. And
Yep.
the weirdest thing is, the first thing I asked before we went to the game on Saturday was, how do you guys handle this COVID thing? So it's mandatory that the athletes out there have to wear a mask under their mask. But there's a way around it. I still can't understand how this works with the mask under a mask thing. I mean, if you got a full shield, I don't understand that concept. But anyway, what they're doing is they're taking a mask and they're actually zip tying it to the inside of the grill. So there's technically it's not on their person, but it's on their grill. So have you seen that through your travels or?
Personally, no, I have not. I've seen pictures, but in Texas, it was kind of, you're good to go.
Yeah. That must be kind of odd. That'd be odd for us to go down there and see that. That's for sure. But so you're going to be eligible. So your eligibility is not going to be compromised this year playing now. So you'll go back as a freshman. So that gives you 4 more years if need be to play. I just want to clarify that.
Yes, that's correct. COVID's kind of given me a free half year here.
That's good. And so what'd you do on your off season? Because you've been bouncing around a little bit here and there. Did you get any extra rink time anywhere you went, just so you could keep up and keep up on what you were doing to keep physical? Or
this summer was kind of a struggle for me, I guess you could say. I was back home in New York for a while. Obviously we had the stay at home period, and I took some time to kind of decompress from the year prior. And I think that was good. But unfortunately I really didn't have any ice availability. I didn't skate really at all until I got down to Texas. So I really focused on training, off ice training with my trainer back home in Brazier, and tried to stay as focused as I could without the ice. In a perfect world, I guess the summer before I was on the ice 2 to 3 times a week in Cornwall over the border. And this year I didn't have that. So it was just trying to stay focused without the ice and putting that work that would go onto the ice in the gym instead.
And not too many sheets in northern New York to have access to in the summertime.
Yeah, no, it was tough.
Well,
one little interesting thing is probably only of interest to me, but I have a cousin who graduated from Northern Michigan last year.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, like I said, only interesting to me, but thought I'd
That's
throw it out
small,
there.
that's small world stuff, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where- well, actually, okay, so you're on the Upper Peninsula. What's the town that you're in?
I'm
Rico?
in Marquette, Michigan.
Okay.
There's another
Marquette.
college there, isn't there?
I think there might be a small community college.
Well, Rico, all the work that you've put in, and one of the things that your dad was talking to me this weekend when I saw him was some stuff that you do to try to keep yourself focused, that you've become an avid reader. But I'm always going to say, and I like this part because we always get to bring this up a lot, or not all the time, but with the Brazier people, I can't think of any better way to focus and learn a little patience than to play golf at Meadowbrook on a regular basis. And you would be one of those. And you play with your dad a lot. You're up there with your dad probably just as much as I'm up there. And, chance to talk a little bit about home make you smile, but can you think of any other place that can drive you to the point of wanting to throw a golf club against a tree and try to keep you focused and patient at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example. And like you said, this summer especially, I played a ton of golf with my dad, and I mean, I love every second of it. It's not even scoring really. It's just being out there and spending quality time with him. And honestly, I think he gets a little bit more mad than me at times. And I think it's my job now to kind of cool him down. And I think in years past, it's kind of been the other way around. So I kind of have the mental tricks to help him out a bit. And we have a good time out there, and I really enjoy it.
So who's beating who?
I think he's still got me 9 times out of 10. He's got the short game and I don't.
He knows his way around that course too.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a good thinker of any sport. So he's tough to beat.
Well, and he's got those senior tees too. He's like 250 yards closer than the rest of us.
Yeah. He only uses that advantage, I think, in league. When we play, he always tees off from the wherever I tee off from.
Well, that's sporting of him right there.
Yeah.
Kept his temper in check that time we played.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, Rico, as somebody that I was lucky enough, I was around you a little bit more than Will and Carter, because you and Toby played baseball together as kids growing up. And, somebody that's been around you, I was your AD. I got to watch you, take us to a state championship game in hockey. I got to watch you win Coach Julia Rose, our first ever Class C championship in soccer here. And I got to watch you win a Class C championship in baseball, which we hadn't done in 15, 20 years when you guys did it in 2016. And you're one of, I wrote it down, and I'm not going to say all the names because I know I'm missing one, but I was pretty sure it was 6 or 7 kids. You're one of 6 or 7 that have won a sectional championship in all 3 seasons in 3 sports. And so you're in rare company here at SLC. And I know everybody is proud of you. You were the talk of the town this weekend. I'm not going to tell you that I was at the Riverview both days this weekend, but I was. So so I got to hear about you, saw mom and dad. And I think it's just awesome to know that you're there. And we know that we got Will and Carter coming as well. They'll be up here in the North Country. Now let's, fingers are crossed here that your coach from Northern Michigan or your AD at Northern Michigan realizes where you're from and sets up a little little weekend for Northern Michigan at SLU or Northern Michigan at Clarkson, because that would be great.
That would be incredible. And I really hope that that works out in the future.
Well, Rico, we can't say thank you enough for taking the time to come on. We know how busy you are right now, how life is a whirlwind. But again, if focus and patience is something that you're really keyed in on right now, you certainly showed it in this half hour. SLC, Tri-Town, Brazier, the North Country, Section 10, we're all pretty proud of you right now, and can't say how happy we are for you, and can't say thank you enough for coming on and saying hello.
No, yeah. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day. And I really enjoyed this.
And also a big congratulations on a big overtime win in your first game.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Rico, nothing but the best for you in your future, and thanks again for coming on the program.
No, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's going to be it tonight on ESS Empire State Sports and the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. For Joey, Dave, and myself, Pete Goslaw, we want to thank our special guest, Rico Dimatteo, for coming on. Thanks a lot, Rico. Good night, everybody, and stay safe.